Hey guys, welcome to this video. My name is John Watts. I'm an Alabama consumer protection attorney, and I want to talk with you about debt buyers. So these are companies like Midland Funding, LVNV, Portfolio Recovery, Calvary, all these different companies, and the idea of paying them money, whether this is in a lawsuit or whether this is you see them on your credit report or they send you a letter. So what are two dangers of paying them money? Now, I'm not saying that you should never pay them money. Although, actually, I think that's a pretty good idea. But let's assume that you are interested in paying them money. You need to know about these two dangers. So then you can decide, do I still want to pay them money? And if I do pay them money, at least I understand these two consequences or dangers that can happen. So what are they? Pretty simple. Taxes and credit reporting. So let's look at taxes first. So there's a general concept under the tax law that if more than $600 is forgiven, and we can kind of get into the details, is this principal only, is this interest, what is this? But let's just keep it kind of general right now. If there's more than $600 forgiven, then that company that, quote, forgave the debt is supposed to send you a 1099 form, which would then be counted as income. So here's an example. LVNV sues you for $5,000. You pay them $3,000. So pretty good deal, right? You didn't pay them 100 cents on the dollar. Well, you just have to understand that you will likely get a 1099 for $2,000 worth of income. Well, where's the $2,000 come from? Well, that's the amount that's forgiven. They sued you for $5, claimed you owed $5, you agreed to pay them $3. So the difference, that $2,000, will be income to you. Now, that does not mean you pay $2,000 in taxes. It means you pay taxes on $2,000 worth of income, whatever your tax bracket is. So again, not saying don't do this, although I'm very suspicious of paying them any money. But if you're going to do this, understand that the January after you do this, or it could even be the following January, you may get this nasty little surprise. Well, if you know what's coming, then it won't be a surprise. You'll say, hey, I made a decision. I'm comfortable doing this. Well, what about credit reporting? Well, if you pay, will the debt buyer agree to delete its credit reporting? Now, right now, as I'm recording this, at least the last time I looked, and this is the middle of December, I looked a couple weeks ago at Portfolio, and they said that if you settle with them, they will then request a deletion. Now, they don't have to do that. They can change that policy at any point. But what specifically has the debt buyer that you're paying money to, what specifically have they said about either deleting the credit reporting or not deleting the credit reporting? Now, if they promise to delete and then they don't, it's pretty simple. You sue them because they lied to you. They violated the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Well, what if there's not a promise to delete? Then what should the reporting look like? Well, after you pay the money, the question is, how much do you owe? So let's go back to our example. LVNV sues you for $5,000. You settle for $3,000. What's the current balance? After you pay, after they receive the money, what is the current balance owed? Is it $2,000 or is it zero? Well, my very strong position on this is that it is zero. If you paid them $1, the balance is not $4,999 if the deal was the case is settled for $1. Well, then you owe them zero. So you pay them $3,000, you don't owe them $2,000, you owe them zero. Let me ask you this. If they sue you for $5, you settle for $3. They send you a letter for $5,000, but they agree to take $3,000. Can they then sue you again for that $2,000? Now, we see them do that. It's incredibly stupid. It's incredibly illegal. And those are fabulous lawsuits when we hammer them on that. The point is you owe zero. So your current balance, in my view, should be zero. Now, what if you settle a $5,000 LVNV, Midland Funding, whoever it is? You settle a $5,000 debt for $3,000. And they put the current balance as $2,000. Well, you could go ahead and sue under the FDCPA. That's section 1692E8. that says a debt collector, and a debt buyer is a debt collector, should not do any false credit reporting. Now, you have to look at the timing of this. When did you settle? Did they update your account after you settled and show it as a $2,000 balance? Well, presumably they did, or else it would show a $5,000 balance. And so if they've updated your credit report after you've settled and they show 5,000, well, certainly that's wrong. If they show 2,000, in my view, that's absolutely wrong. And you could sue, or at least look at suing, under the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Section 1692E8. Or you could dispute it under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. So you send a dispute to the credit bureaus, not directly to the debt buyer. I mean, you can, but you have to go through the credit bureaus, okay? You have to go through Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, Innovis, whoever's reporting it. If it's not fixed, then you sue the debt buyer under Section 1681 S2B. Now, you would also sue them under the FDCPA, Section 1692E8. And depending on how you did your dispute, how much information you gave the credit bureaus, you might be suing the credit bureaus. And you would sue those guys under Section 1681I for doing a lousy investigation, or technically a reinvestigation. And you might also sue them under Section 1681EB, which is a failure to have reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy. Okay? But the point is, if you are going to settle with a debt buyer by paying them money, then are they taking it off your report? And if they're not taking it off your report, are they going to report accurate and complete information? And if they don't, then you look at either suing under the FDCPA or disputing under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And then when it's not fixed, you sue under the FCRA and the FDCPA. And so, again, not saying whether you should or should not pay. It all depends on the circumstance. Have you been sued? Maybe you need this debt handled in order to close on a mortgage. Maybe you've looked at this debt buyer, this collection law firm, your particular judge, and you say, hey, I need to pay this. That's fine. Just make sure you understand the consequences. Taxes and the credit reporting. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you like this type of video, we put these out every day. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.